What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Underrated Plug review show. So, today we are going to talk about HBO Max's show. They had a special Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. Now, this reunion was very, very phenomenal. Everybody came back with the exception of James Avery. Of course, as you know, he passed a couple years ago. So, a very, very special character he was, and a big part of the show, really the kind of heartbeat of the show. But also, we got a very surprise guest that I think the world and anybody who is a fan of this show has been waiting to see and hear from. If you don't really know the backstory, they go over that in this reunion. So, and that is Janet Hubert. She came back to kind of, I guess, say her side of the story. Her and Will actually sat down in a separate interview together, and they got to hash out their differences and their issues. And that was a very beautiful moment, I think, for TV and also the hardcore Fresh Prince fans to see, because, I mean, I'm sure everybody has heard rumors or certain things or issues that happened, or why she left the show, or if she was fired, or what the issue was and why she was replaced. But nobody really knows except for the people a part of, the cast and, people involved. So the fans, of course, probably were searching for answers and maybe, conspiracy theories floating around for years about if she left or if she was fired or what was the problem. But her and Will sat down nonetheless to take care of that, and also just to get back to each other, because it's been, I think, 27 years that they've even seen each other or even probably have talked. So that was beautiful to see. What a great TV moment. Everybody, I'm sure, who's a fan has been waiting for that. And also, she even came to rejoin the cast in the original reunion, which is super beautiful to see. Everybody wanted to see the whole entire cast get back together. Too bad they couldn't have done that or got it together, a couple years ago before James Avery's passing. So, nonetheless, we got a really cool reunion. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, we got to see some behind the scenes stuff, just how they kind of had this groundbreaking show of the 90s, and just, the black excellence part, the being rich part, the Bel-Air, the California kind of, sedity kind of uptight or rich lifestyle when you are a inner city kid coming to that life. And this is a true story of an actual person, the guy who created the show. This was his life. He went from Watts to Bel-Air, and this is his depiction of that. Now, side note from the reunion, there is going to be a drama series of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is going to be geared toward a drama. And I don't think it's going to have too much comedy in it. I mean, there might be some, but they're going to be doing a drama version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with a whole new type of cast. A lot of unknown actors, very, I guess, first timers, or just people that are not known, not too many famous people, but a really great drama. If you haven't seen the trailer, go check the trailer out. Matter of fact, I'll put the trailer down in the description so you can check it out, or if you haven't even heard about it. But back to the reunion. So we got to see everybody's point of view. We got to see Alfonso Ribeiro, who plays Carlton. We got to see everybody kind of give their opinions and their differences, and, the things that they love most about the show, and, them just kind of, taking 6 years of their life and kind of, giving everybody the backstory of what type of environment and what kind of show and what kind of family they really became, TV family, as far as, spending that much time with everybody and people that you work with. I mean, if you're working every day together for 5 to 10 hours a day, every single day, and, you all kind of getting famous together. I mean, who knew also, like, how many stars would be created? I mean, who knew Will Smith was going to be so big and so huge and be one of the biggest box office stars and action movie stars ever when they were doing this show? And if you were a lifelong fan of the show, you just really appreciate them even doing this, because it's something that, I think hardcore fans wanted to see. And you got to actually see everybody's growth. And if you've been following anybody's career, or you're just a movie goer or a movie watcher, you've seen Hillary's character, be in other movies like Major Payne and, TV shows. And you got to see Alfonso, host America's Funniest Home Videos. And also Ashley's character. I mean, she went on to do a ton of other movies. If you ever seen like The Brothers or any of her other TV, I'm not sure what TV show she was on a few years ago, but she had another TV show. So a lot of these characters has spun off and really did big things. and then some you might not have heard so much from, but most of the characters went on to be big stars or just tackle their careers in their own way. But overall, this reunion was really, really awesome to see. It was great to see the growth and the maturity and just different perspectives and point of views from each individual cast member. And you kind of got to know all these people and characters, and just as not even characters, but just as even regular people and what they thought of the show and how the show was perceived and how, they felt the show impacted the culture and the world, and how many, new fans they gained. I mean, this show is still on TV today. I mean, it's on like every day. So this show literally is giving a resurgence, have been given a resurgence, to a new generation of people. I mean, I think everybody in my family, from the top to the bottom, they all have seen this show or love this show or have become fans of the show, because the show is just really, really dynamic. It's funny. They tackle everyday issues. They tackle race issues. They tackle family issues. They even tackle, wealth issues and privilege and, not privilege and, just everything culture involved that real families go through. They pretty much have an episode for, because the show is based off, a real experience. And, it has its embellishments, but, anybody probably knows some people or a family kind of like them, or, just that kind of family dynamic in a show. This was just a fantastic show, period. But the fact that we got to see all of them come back and reunite and see how actually close they really are, and just enjoy, what the show has, given to culture and given to, younger generations, especially. I mean, this show's a 90s show, and this show's 20, 30 years old, and it literally is still impacting, 5 to 10-year-olds, and they love this show. I mean, you can't go anywhere, or anytime you play any of the music from this show, like the Carlton dance music, I mean, you have to do the Carlton, or that takes you to that moment of this show. So these shows that we enjoy and these shows from the 90s really shape, the culture going forward and just the world, because I'm sure every single one of these characters gets stopped in their regular life and people freak out and, tell them a life experience that they had that might have been close to them. But overall, the reunion show was amazing. I mean, Janet coming back to really hang out with the cast and kind of talk, and we got to see just different perspectives. I mean, and then to find out all the backstories was pretty cool to see that, like Jazzy Jeff, he turned the show down. He didn't want to really do the show. He didn't want to be an actor. It wasn't his thing, but, he ended up doing it, and it became, it became probably the most like funniest hype man ever to be thrown out of a house, or, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody has like a good looking cousin that like a friend wants to, try to get with, and she doesn't want to have nothing to do with them. Everybody knows somebody like these characters, and that's the genius part of the show. And they just really dig into that. So it's on HBO Max. Now you have to pay for the subscription or whatever. But realistically, if you do the trial, you can actually kind of, sneak in there and, watch the show and do the 7-day trial. You didn't get that from me, but it's something that you can, try, or just pay for the HBO Max. They also got the cool shows and stuff, but watch this show. I mean, it's phenomenal. This reunion is like, it's a very emotional reunion. I mean, everybody cries. They do a dedication to James Avery, and they all kind of give good stories and just behind the scenes on what the atmosphere was like. They show a lot of old footage, a lot of behind the scenes footage. So you get to see some cool private moments and just, things that we wouldn't really know about. I mean, they even talk about breaking the fourth wall, with the audience, and how, they actually kind of, one of the first shows actually kind of started showing the audience and, that it's really a TV show, and they would start, involving the audience sometimes, and they would just do a lot with the live audience. So it was very cool to see. I've been waiting probably years for them to do a show or reunion. Now, I think everybody was hoping for, maybe a little confused when they first saw it, maybe thinking that they would come back and do an episode or something, like a new season or just kind of an episode. But I don't think they should ever do that. I don't want them to do a spinoff or anything like that. The drama one would be really interesting to see. That one will be cool, but I don't want this original cast. I mean, what they did is set in stone. It's classic. It's the best they could ever did. So I don't want them to ruin it by trying to come back and do an episode or something like that. The reunion was, answered all the questions. I mean, it got all the things that people probably were wondering out of the way. So the reunion really did its job, and it was very beautiful to see this cast. I mean, it's an emotional, roller coaster with happiness and sadness, especially if you are a hardcore fan, because you just get to see everybody in their life today. I mean, something that they did when some of them were kids and, young adults. So it was a very, very awesome reunion, and check it out. And that's my review for you guys. Just tell you a little bit about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. So that's it. Peace.